Have you ever looked at the calendar and felt a jolt of panic? Another month gone, another season passed, and you're still standing in the exact same spot. You have the same frustrations, the same routines, the same quiet ache of knowing you are capable of so much more. If you gave yourself just 6 months, 180 days, with no excuses, no distractions, and a completely new level of focus, your entire life could look, feel, and be different. If that sentence made you pause, good. Because most people scroll right past the very ideas that could set them free. This isn't just another motivational talk designed to give you a temporary high. This is for the person who is truly tired. Tired of wasting precious time. Tired of watching others build their dreams while you're stuck replaying your doubts. Tired of feeling like you're constantly playing catch-up in a race you never even feel prepared for. Tired of living the same day, the same week, the same year over and over again. Give yourself 6 months to change. Everything isn't just a title. It's a declaration. It's a decision. And this might be the first time someone tells you the unvarnished truth about what it really takes. If you click away now, I can promise you one thing. Nothing changes. You already know that deep down. But if you stay, if you listen to this with an open mind and a willing heart, you will walk away with a framework and a mindset that no longer depends on fleeting motivation ever again. So for the next hour, put the world on hold. Silence the notifications. Stay locked in. This is the conversation your future self has been begging you to have. If you're ready to make a change, stick with me. And if you find value in what you hear today, don't forget to hit that like button and subscribe for more content that can help you transform your life. Now, let's begin. Chapter 1. The Unfiltered Truth. The first step in any meaningful transformation, the absolute non-negotiable starting point, is to be brutally, uncomfortably, and relentlessly honest about what is actually ruining your life. This isn't a light step. It's not a box you tick once and move on. It is a deep, soul-excavating process, and it's the bedrock upon which your new life will be built. You cannot build a skyscraper on a rotten foundation. You cannot move forward if you're still pretending everything is fine when your internal world is in chaos. You can't architect a better future while you're still clinging to the very habits, the tired excuses, and the self-defeating behaviors that are silently eroding your potential. You simply cannot fix what you refuse to face. And yet, so many people spend their entire lives in a masterful performance of avoidance. They become experts at distracting themselves, at numbing the discontent, at blaming the world for the state of their own backyard. To begin this 6-month revolution, you must be willing to do what they will not. You must sit down with yourself in total silence and get radically honest. Not emotional, not dramatic, just factual. Ask yourself these questions and let the answers land without judgment. What am I doing every single day that is holding me back? What thoughts do I allow to loop in my mind that make me feel small, incapable, or afraid? What choices am I making that I already know, with gut-level certainty, are leading me absolutely nowhere? For some, the answer is procrastination. It's a quiet poison. They live in a perpetual state of tomorrow. I'll start the diet tomorrow. I'll update my resume tomorrow. I'll have that difficult conversation tomorrow. But tomorrow becomes a mythical land that never arrives. and today is squandered in the waiting. Procrastination isn't just laziness, it's a profound disrespect for the finite nature of your own life. For others, it's an addiction. And I don't just mean the obvious culprits. I mean the addiction to comfort, the addiction to distraction, the addiction to the warm, numbing glow of a screen that asks nothing of you. It's the same pattern, a feedback loop from hell. When life gets hard, when the work feels daunting, when a difficult emotion surfaces, they escape. The escape becomes the routine, and the routine becomes a cage. For so many, the true culprit is their mindset, a mind conditioned for doubt, a mind that defaults to fear, a mind that constantly rehearses failure before ever taking the first step. They don't trust their own capabilities. They carry the ghosts of past failures like a shield, believing it protects them, when in reality, it just keeps them from ever entering the fight again. This mindset becomes their self-imposed prison, and they are both the inmate and the warden. And sometimes, the honest truth is about the people you surround yourself with. The friends who greet your ambition with a smirk. The family members who remind you to be realistic every time you dream. The partner who subtly sabotages your new, healthy habits because your growth makes them feel insecure. You must recognize these people. You don't have to hate them. You don't have to fight them. You just have to see, with piercing clarity, that they are not going where you need to go. And perhaps the even harder truth is that you are the one allowing them to stay. You are the one saying yes when your soul is screaming no. You're the one who avoids the conflict of setting a boundary because it feels easier in the moment than the long-term freedom it would provide. These are difficult admissions. They sting, but they are necessary. If you want to transform your life in 6 months, you must begin by being a diligent janitor of your own soul, cleaning out everything that has been poisoning your progress. No more excuses. No more blaming your childhood. No more lamenting how things should have been. That narrative changes nothing. What changes your life is the moment you stop, look your own destructive patterns in the eye, and declare, I am not doing this anymore. I am not living this way. I see what is hurting me, and I am done allowing it to have a home here. That is the moment your life begins to move. Not when you buy the new planner, not when you watch another video, but when you finally stop lying to yourself. This honesty demands action. It means changing the way you show up from the moment your eyes open. If you're waking up late, groggy, and resentful, dragging yourself through a day you feel no control over, you already know that's ruining your life. You don't need another reminder. You need to change it. You know exactly which foods leave you feeling bloated and tired. You know which mindless routines leave you feeling empty and guilty. You know precisely what behaviors you revert to when no one is watching. The ones that chip away at your self-respect. That is the truth you must face. It's not complicated. It's just uncomfortable. And we live in a world that has taught us to flee from discomfort at all costs. But growth does not care about your comfort. It only cares about your commitment. So take a real inventory. Write it all down. Don't edit, don't soften the language. Put it on paper, right in front of your face. What are you doing that's holding you back? What thoughts are stealing your confidence? What people are draining your vital energy? What behaviors are leading you to regret instead of progress? Once you know what's broken, you can begin to fix it. You can't do it all in one day, but you can start today. Stop one thing. If social media is a black hole for your time, delete the apps for a week. If junk food is your crutch, clean out your kitchen tonight. If a certain person leaves you feeling smaller after every interaction, create some intentional space. It is not about a grand, perfect overhaul. It is about being intentional. Every single time you cut out something that is ruining your life, you create a vacuum, and you get to decide what better thing grows in its place. This is where your power returns. This is where your self-respect is reborn. The more honest you are, the faster your life changes. It starts with the truth, especially when it hurts. Chapter 2. The Architect of Your Day. If you want to grow, truly grow, you cannot leave your days to chance. Growth is not an accident. It is not a lottery ticket you might stumble upon. It is the direct result of intentional design. It happens when you wake up with purpose and go to bed with the quiet satisfaction of knowing you moved the needle forward. To make that a reality, you need a routine. But let's be clear. I'm not talking about a routine that just keeps you busy. A color-coded schedule filled with meaningless tasks that make you feel productive but produce no real results. I'm not talking about a routine that looks impressive on social media but doesn't fundamentally challenge you. You need a routine that forces you to grow. A structure that pushes you to show up when your feelings are telling you to hide. A personal system that holds you to a higher standard, whether you feel motivated, tired, inspired, or bored. You must become the architect of your day. You build this kind of routine by first achieving absolute clarity on what truly matters. Not what seems productive, not what everyone else is doing on their hustle culture blogs. What matters to you? What actions physically change your energy? What practices build your confidence from the inside out? What habits improve your most valuable skills? What rituals protect your mental and emotional clarity? Most people begin their day in a state of digital chaos. The alarm goes off, and before their feet even touch the floor, their hand reaches for their phone. They are immediately flooded with other people's emergencies, other people's opinions, other people's curated highlight reels. They scroll through a fire hose of information that has nothing to do with their own goals. And just like that, the first, most precious hour of their day is lost. They start the day reacting, and when you start your day reacting, you will spend the rest of it playing defense. You cannot lead your own life if you don't even lead your first hour. You must reclaim your mornings. This starts with a simple but profound shift. You decide the night before what kind of person you will be tomorrow. You lay out your clothes. You plan your first move. You don't leave your morning to the mercy of your mood. That is a trap. You will never feel like getting up at 5 a.m. when the alarm blares. You will never feel like facing the workout when the bed is warm. Your feelings are fickle and unreliable captains for the ship of your life. Your commitment is the rudder. You wake up and you follow through on the plan you made when you were rational and clear-headed. This is how you train your mind to follow direction instead of emotion. When you design this routine, resist the urge to overcomplicate it. Don't create a checklist of 15 things you must do before 7 a.m. That isn't a recipe for growth. It's a recipe for burnout and anxiety. You want clarity, simplicity, and focus. Pick 3 to 5 non-negotiable actions that stretch you. Actions that make you physically stronger, mentally sharper, or emotionally more grounded. You don't need more activities. You need the right ones, executed with unwavering consistency. Let's take a hypothetical example. Think of a programmer named Sarah. For years, her mornings were a frantic blur. She'd wake up, grab her phone, chug coffee while answering emails, and feel stressed before her day had even begun. She decided to become the architect. Her new routine wasn't complicated. It had 3 pillars. First, no phone for the first hour. Period. Second, 10 minutes of stretching and deep breathing to connect with her body. Third, 30 minutes of uninterrupted work on her most important coding project before opening her inbox. That's it. Within a month, her entire reality shifted. She felt calmer, more in control, and was making more progress on her key project than she had in the previous 6 months combined. She didn't add more hours. She added more intention. Your routine must also include elements of deliberate difficulty. Growth happens at the edge of your comfort zone. So your daily structure must include things that make you sweat, things that require discipline, things that stretch your current limits. You don't grow by doing what's convenient. You grow by doing what you'd rather avoid. Maybe that's 30 minutes of intense exercise. Maybe it's practicing a skill you're not good at yet. Maybe it's reading a dense book instead of watching television. Whatever it is, that scheduled discomfort is your catalyst for transformation. Equally important, and often neglected, is reflection. Your routine must build in time to pause. It's not optional. 10 minutes at the end of the day to ask yourself, did I live in alignment with my goals today? Where did I win? Where did I fall short? What can I do better tomorrow? This isn't about self-criticism. It's about course correction. Without reflection, you're just flying blind. You start drifting, and you won't notice how far off course you are until you find yourself completely lost. And do not forget your evenings. You can't expect to wake up a lion if you go to sleep like a lamb led to the slaughter of mindless entertainment. If your nights are filled with junk food, chaotic energy, and endless scrolling, you are sabotaging the next day before it even begins. Your evenings are for winding down with purpose. They are for resetting, recharging, and preparing. Plan the next day. Read a physical book. Tidy your space. Protect your peace. The reason most people stay stuck is because their routine has no pressure, no demand, no teeth. It's a soft, comfortable hammock, not a training ground. They do what they feel like. They skip the parts that matter. They wait for a mythical bolt of motivation. That's why 6 months pass, and their reflection in the mirror is identical. You have to design a routine that demands more from you, one that builds discipline as its primary product, not just results. A routine that teaches you to follow through when it's boring, when it's hard, when no one is watching to give you a gold star. That quiet commitment, that personal integrity, is how self-respect is forged in fire. And when you trust yourself, your entire world begins to change. You stop hesitating. You stop overthinking. You stop backing down from challenges because you know who you are. You've earned that confidence through daily, repeated effort. You've lived it. This is how you change everything in 6 months. Not by waiting for a miracle, but by designing a daily process that makes growth inevitable. A routine that leaves no room for your weaker self to negotiate. Build it, stick to it, and watch as it builds you in return. Chapter 3. Declaring War on Comfort. If you truly want to change your life in the next 6 months, you must internalize one fundamental, unshakable truth. Comfort is not your friend. It masquerades as one. It feels safe. It feels familiar. It whispers sweet lullabies of ease and rest. But it is the single greatest obstacle to your potential. The very comfort you seek is the cage that has been holding you captive for years. Every single time you choose comfort over progress, you are making a trade. You are trading the person you could become for the person you currently are. Every time you pick what feels easy over what would make you grow, you are trading a lifetime of strength for a moment of relief. You have been making that trade for long enough. It's why you're listening to this. It's why you feel that gnawing dissatisfaction. You cannot have both. You cannot ascend to new heights while remaining firmly planted in the soft, warm soil of your comfort zone. Progress demands a price. It demands effort. It demands focus. It demands that you intentionally and repeatedly step into voluntary discomfort. It demands that you stop running from things just because they are hard. This 6-month journey is about fundamentally shifting your allegiance. You must stop giving comfort the power to dictate your actions. Think of your day as a series of crossroads, dozens of them. The alarm goes off. Wake up or hit snooze. That's a choice between progress and comfort. Time to work out. Push through the burn or cut the session short. Progress or comfort. A challenging project on your desk. Tackle it first or check emails and social media. Progress or comfort. These moments seem insignificant, but they are the atoms that construct the molecule of your destiny. Every time you choose comfort, you cast a vote for the version of you that wants to stay the same. You reinforce the neural pathways of ease and avoidance. But every time you choose progress, you cast a vote for your future self. You build a new identity, one that is forged in discipline and resilience. Most people are unknowingly addicted to comfort. It's a low-grade, chronic addiction. It doesn't feel like a destructive habit, which is what makes it so insidious. It doesn't come with a warning label. It doesn't feel like failure in the moment. But its cumulative effect is devastating. It keeps you in the same job you hate, the same physical condition you resent, the same state of quiet desperation year after year. And when you look back, you'll realize comfort didn't protect you. It imprisoned you. It made you settle for a life that was a fraction of what you were capable of living. You must begin to view comfort as the enemy of your ambition. It won't feel good at first. In fact, it will feel terrible. Your mind and body, conditioned for years to seek the path of least resistance, will scream in protest. You will feel frustrated. You will feel tired. But choosing progress means choosing short-term, voluntary discomfort for long-term, undeniable strength. It means doing what is necessary, not just what is nice. Imagine comfort is a warm, cozy blanket. When you're under it, you feel safe and protected. But every day, that blanket shrinks just a little bit. Your world gets smaller. Your skills atrophy. Your courage diminishes. Progress is stepping out from under that blanket into the cold air. It's a shock to the system at first, but soon your body adapts. You generate your own heat. You become stronger, more resilient, and you realize you never needed that shrinking blanket in the first place. You are the fire. You have a vision for your life. You have goals. But you will not reach them by staying where it feels pleasant. You will get there by showing up, day after day, and doing the things that move you forward, especially when you don't feel like it. This might mean waking up 2 hours before anyone else to work on your side business. It might mean studying when your friends are out socializing. It might mean having a brutally honest conversation with a loved one instead of letting resentment fester. That is what progress demands. Progress is often silent. It doesn't always come with applause or immediate results, but it gives you something far more valuable: pride. A deep, unshakable sense of self-respect that you can't buy, borrow, or fake. You earn it. You earn it by making the hard choice, the growth choice, over and over again. If you want to live the same year on repeat, just keep choosing comfort. Keep making decisions based on how little effort you can get away with. But if you want to look back 6 months from now and be unrecognizable to your current self, stronger, clearer, more confident, then you must make a conscious shift. Start today. Right now. Pick one thing you have been avoiding because it's uncomfortable. Is it organizing your finances? Is it starting a new workout program? Is it making that sales call? Whatever it is, do it. Don't wait until you feel ready. Don't negotiate with your weaker self. Just execute. Get through it. And then, when you're done, acknowledge the feeling. Not the feeling of comfort, but the feeling of accomplishment. That feeling is your new North Star. Your mind will fight you on this. It will serve you a buffet of excuses. You're too tired. You can do it tomorrow. It doesn't really matter. That voice is not your friend. That voice is the siren song of mediocrity. Your job is to recognize it, thank it for its opinion, and keep moving forward anyway. You are not obligated to believe every thought that floats through your consciousness. You are the curator of your mind. Choose which thoughts get your energy. When you consistently push through discomfort, a profound psychological shift occurs. You start to trust your own strength. You learn that your feelings are just suggestions, not directives. You develop mental toughness. You realize you are capable of doing hard things. That quiet confidence, the one born from knowing you are no longer taking the easy way out, is what changes everything. It's like trying to run 20 browser tabs in your brain at once. Choosing comfort keeps them all open, draining your mental RAM. Choosing progress closes them one by one, freeing up your focus and energy. You don't need to change your entire life overnight. You just need to stop choosing the version of you that avoids effort. Choose growth. Choose discipline. Choose the decision that makes you stronger. Do that today, and then do it again tomorrow. Every one of those choices builds a life that comfort never could, a life you truly respect. Chapter 4. Breaking the Chains of Instant Gratification. If you are serious about this 6-month transformation, you must declare a personal war on the modern world's most pervasive and insidious addiction: the addiction to instant gratification. You have to stop chasing things that give you a momentary buzz but cost you your long-term vision. It's not that quick pleasure is inherently evil. The danger lies in how we have trained our brains to depend on it. We live in an on-demand world. We want instant food, instant entertainment, instant validation. Our minds have been rewired by a constant stream of notifications, likes, and endless scrolls. We can't go a single day, sometimes not even a single hour, without reaching for something that provides a small, effortless hit of dopamine. A quick check of social media, a sugary snack we don't need, another episode of a show that helps us escape from our own reality. These actions seem harmless in isolation, but cumulatively, they are a wrecking ball to your potential. They fundamentally reshape the way you think and live. Quick pleasure requires no effort. That's its seductive appeal. It gives you a reward now without demanding that you earn it. But the hidden cost is immense. You start to lose your capacity for deep focus. Your patience evaporates. You begin to avoid any task that takes time, any project that requires sustained effort, because your brain is now calibrated for instant rewards. And the longer you live this way, the harder it becomes to build anything of meaning. Because anything worth building, your health, your career, your financial freedom, a deep skill set, a meaningful relationship, requires the one thing instant gratification has stolen from us: time. It requires patience. It requires you to show up, do the work, and trust the process, even when the results are not immediately visible. It requires you to resist the primal urge to escape into the easiest, most stimulating option the moment things get hard or boring. You must retrain your mind. You have to deliberately and consistently practice delayed gratification. This means making choices today that will only pay off weeks, months, or even years from now. It means planting a tree whose shade you know you won't enjoy for a long time. It means learning to sit in the discomfort of boredom or effort without immediately reaching for your phone as a digital pacifier. This is not easy. Everything in our environment is engineered to do the opposite. The brightest minds of a generation are working at tech companies to figure out how to capture and hold your attention for as long as possible. You cannot live like everyone else and expect to have a different life. Most people are trapped in a dopamine-driven cycle. Wake up, scroll, react, seek pleasure, numb stress, repeat. 6 months later, they are standing in the same spot, wondering why their life feels so hollow. You have to decide that you want a better future more than you want a comfortable present. That is the fundamental shift. It happens in your mind first. You must become a mindful observer of your own urges. When you feel that pull to reach for a distraction, pause. In that tiny space between impulse and action, ask yourself, what am I trying to avoid right in this moment? More often than not, the chase for quick pleasure is a mask. It's a cover for boredom, anxiety, insecurity, or fear. Instead of facing those feelings, we smother them with stimulation. But the feeling doesn't go away. It just gets buried, and it grows heavier. When you begin to starve this addiction, you start to see your life with new clarity. You notice how fragmented your attention has become. You realize how many hours you have poured into things that gave you nothing of value in return. This awareness is your leverage. Once you see the matrix, you can begin to unplug from it. Start with one area. Let's say it's your phone usage. For 1 week, impose strict rules. No phone for the first hour of the day and the last hour before bed. Delete the 3 most time-wasting apps. See what happens. It will be uncomfortable. Your thumb will twitch. You'll feel a phantom buzz in your pocket. This is withdrawal. It is proof that the habit has its hooks in you. But stick with it. After a few days, you will notice something miraculous. Your mind will feel quieter. Your thoughts will become deeper. You will feel a sense of agency return. You are no longer a slave to the algorithm. This mental training is about reclaiming your power. The power to direct your own focus. The power to stay grounded when the world is screaming for your attention. The power to persist through the long, unexciting middle of a project where most people quit. This is a skill, and like any skill, it gets stronger with practice. Every time you choose long-term growth over a short-term hit, you build a new mental muscle. Consider an entrepreneur named Marcus. He was brilliant, but he could never finish anything. He'd have a great idea, work on it intensely for 2 weeks, and then, as soon as he hit the first major obstacle or the initial excitement wore off, he'd get distracted by a new, shinier idea. His life was a graveyard of half-finished projects. His problem wasn't a lack of talent. It was a brain conditioned for novelty and instant wins. He committed to a 6-month dopamine detox. He drastically cut his screen time, started meditating to improve his focus, and committed to working on one, and only one, project for the entire period, no matter how boring it got. The first 2 months were torture, but by month 4, he had achieved a state of deep focus he hadn't experienced since college. By month 6, he had a viable product. He didn't become smarter, he became more disciplined. Look at your own routine, be honest. How much of it is structured around avoiding effort and seeking immediate pleasure? How much of your time is spent on activities that feel good now but lead to regret or emptiness later? That is the pattern you must break. You are not stuck. You are just following a program that needs to be rewritten. Train your mind to crave the satisfaction of a day of hard work well done. Teach yourself to enjoy the process, not just the outcome. Remind yourself that the goal is not to feel good every second of every day. The goal is to build a life that feels strong, meaningful, and authentically yours. That takes work. That takes time. But the reward, a life of purpose and self-respect, is worth more than 1,000,000 mindless distractions. Chapter 5. The habits that build you and the habits that break you. If you want to change your life in 6 months, you must stop doing the things that make you feel worse about who you are. It truly is that simple and that profound. You already possess an inner compass that tells you which of your habits are breaking you down. You know, with gut-level certainty, what actions leave you feeling empty, weak, lazy, or disappointed in yourself. You cannot continue to live in that cycle and expect your life to magically feel better. It will not. You can't keep waking up every day and engaging in behaviors that silently fill you with shame and expect your confidence to grow. The math does not work. Many of these destructive habits didn't start that way. They were small at first. Perhaps you picked them up during a difficult period in your life as a way to cope. Maybe they offered a fleeting sense of comfort or control. But now, those coping mechanisms have morphed into chains. You now use them to hide, to avoid, to procrastinate on living the life you know you are capable of. And every single time you revert to them, a small part of you shrinks. Your potential dims. That isn't just a lack of discipline. It's a quiet form of self-abandonment. You look in the mirror, and even if you don't say it out loud, you know the truth. You're not proud of how you've been spending your time. You're not proud of how you've been treating your body, this incredible vessel you've been given. You're not proud of how you've been managing your mind or your responsibilities. And that moment of raw honesty is where your transformation must begin. Because once you admit how these habits are truly affecting you, you can't unsee it. You can no longer pretend they are harmless little quirks. They are not small. They are the architecture of your stagnation. They are the reason you wake up tired. They are the reason you avoid the work that matters. They are the reason you do not respect yourself the way you should. This is not about chasing perfection, which is a fool's errand. This is about getting fundamentally sick and tired of feeling stuck in a version of yourself you do not admire. It's about recognizing the stark reality that every single habit you have is either building you up or breaking you down. There is no neutral ground. If you spend your days consuming garbage food, endlessly scrolling through meaningless content, skipping workouts, avoiding responsibilities, and filling your precious time with low-quality, low-energy routines, you will not like your life. And worse, on a subconscious level, you will start to believe that you are the kind of person who doesn't deserve more. The truth is, you have developed habits that have trained you to settle for less. They have trained you to numb your feelings instead of processing them. They have trained you to avoid hard decisions instead of facing them head-on. Over time, this breeds a quiet kind of self-loathing. It doesn't happen all at once. It's a slow, creeping erosion of your spirit. You don't even notice it happening. But one day you wake up and feel completely disconnected from yourself, like you're a ghost haunting your own life. That's what these habits do. They slowly, insidiously lower your standards for yourself without you ever consciously agreeing to it. They whisper in your ear that discipline is too hard for you, that consistency is for other people, that you're just not one of those people. But you are. Your potential is simply buried under layers of behavior that were never designed to help you grow. To break them, you must stop negotiating with them. You must stop the endless bargaining. Just one more episode. I'll start eating healthy on Monday. I'm too tired today. Every time you say that, you are sacrificing your future for a moment of present ease. You are losing time you will never, ever get back. You break these destructive habits by strategically and intentionally replacing them. You don't just leave a void. You fill the space with something that aligns with the person you are determined to become. You stop numbing your emotions and start journaling to understand them. You stop wasting your energy on mindless consumption and start directing it toward a creative project. You wake up and you establish a new, unbreakable rule for yourself. No more actions that leave me feeling ashamed. That is a real, tangible rule. When you follow that rule, your self-respect begins to seep back into your life. It starts small. Maybe you wake up and instead of grabbing your phone, You get out of bed, drink a full glass of water, and do 5 minutes of stretching. That's a win. Maybe you stop eating food out of a box that makes you feel sluggish and irritable, and you take 20 minutes to cook a simple, clean meal. That's a win. These are not massive, earth-shattering changes, but they are incredibly powerful because they send a new message to your subconscious mind. They prove that you are not a slave to your old programming. Yes, it will be uncomfortable at first. Those old habits have carved deep grooves in your brain. They've become your default way of soothing yourself. Your brain will resist the change. You will feel that magnetic pull to revert to what is familiar. That is not weakness. That is just your old programming fighting for its life. Your job is to rewire the system, and you don't do it by trying to change 20 things at once. You pick one single behavior that makes you feel weak, one habit that consistently ruins your mood, and you eliminate it. You replace it with something better. You focus on that one change for a full week until it starts to feel normal. Then, you add another. This is how you rebuild your foundation. Slowly, deliberately, and with unshakable intention. Here's the secret. The more of these negative habits you break, the more personal power you feel flooding back into your life. You'll notice your thoughts become clearer. Your physical energy returns. Your emotions feel lighter because you are no longer carrying the heavy psychic weight of actions you regret. You start to feel like someone you can actually rely on. And that feeling, that budding self-trust, is the key that unlocks everything else. Chapter 6. Do the thing you fear the most. The radical change you are searching for is not hiding in a new productivity hack or a secret morning routine. It is waiting for you on the other side of the things you have been actively avoiding. Every single one of us has a list. It's a mental list, and sometimes it's a physical one, of the hard things we continuously put off. The difficult conversation with a partner, the decision to leave a job that is soul-crushing, the work of finally getting our finances in order, the commitment to a health regimen we know we desperately need. That avoidance is not a passive act. It has a cost. With every day that passes, that list of avoided tasks doesn't just sit there. It accrues interest. It builds pressure. It generates a low-grade hum of anxiety in the background of your life. And over time, it calcifies into a deep and abiding frustration with yourself. You wonder why you feel stuck, why your life lacks momentum. But deep down, you know the answer. You are avoiding the very work that matters most. You are delaying the exact actions that would propel you forward. Here is a simple but life-altering principle. If something feels hard, it probably matters. If a task makes you feel uncomfortable, it likely holds immense value for your growth. Most people spend their lives waiting for the hard things to get easier. They don't. They wait for the fear to magically disappear. It won't. The only way through is through. The only way the fear subsides is by taking action in its presence. The only way the task gets easier is by starting it. Growth happens when you walk directly into the resistance, while your hands are shaking, while your voice trembles, while every instinct in your body is screaming at you to run in the other direction. That is the birthplace of courage. When you make a habit of avoiding what challenges you, you are training yourself to settle. You are teaching your nervous system that your capacity is limited. You lower your own standards. You become a person who only makes a move when it feels 100% safe, which means you never make any significant moves at all. That might keep you comfortable, but it will never, ever make you proud. And you cannot build a powerful, fulfilling life if you are not proud of the person you are when no one is looking. Let's start small. Take out a piece of paper and write down the top 3 things you have been actively avoiding this month. The tasks, the conversations, the commitments. No justifications, no excuses, just name them. Look at that list. That list is the barrier between the life you have and the life you want. Those are the dragons you must slay to get to the treasure. You are not stuck because you are incapable. You are stuck because you are choosing easy over necessary. You are stuck because your days are filled with the soft pillows of comfort, not the hard ground of challenge. You finish each day knowing you sidestepped something important, and that is why your confidence is bleeding out. Not because you failed, but because you refused to even enter the arena. The only antidote to this paralysis is immediate, imperfect action. You must take that first step. You must do the hard thing today, not next week. Not when you feel ready, because you will never feel ready. You must do it now. You face what you've been avoiding, and you handle it. It might be messy. It might not go perfectly, but it will shatter your inertia. That first difficult action sends a shockwave through your system. It starts a new story in your mind, a story where you are the protagonist who faces challenges, not the side character who runs from them. Think of these hard things as your personal training ground. They build your character. They forge grit. They cultivate a deep, earned respect for yourself that no one can ever take away. The people you admire in any field, the athletes, the artists, the entrepreneurs, did not get there by taking the path of least resistance. They learned to embrace the struggle. They learned to stay steady and focused when things got uncomfortable. You have that exact same ability within you, but you will never discover it until you intentionally challenge yourself. This is where true discipline is born. Not in color-coded planners, but in making a series of uncomfortable choices. You finally send that email you've been drafting in your head for weeks. You make the appointment with the financial advisor. You clean the garage that has been overwhelming you. You apologize to the person you wronged. You say no to the commitment you never wanted. You do the full workout, not just the easy parts. You show up on the days you feel completely off. You stop negotiating with yourself. You stop hunting for a fleeting feeling of motivation. You simply act. That habit alone will revolutionize your existence. Here's what you'll discover. The hard things are almost never as bad in reality as they are in your imagination. It is the anticipation, the dread, the constant mental rehearsal of failure that wears you down, not the task itself. Once you are in motion, your body takes over, your mind focuses, and when it's done, you feel lighter. You feel clearer. You feel in control again. You realize that the fear was just a fog, and your action was the wind that blew it all away. Living this way happens one day at a time. Each morning, you ask yourself, what is the one hard thing I can do today that my future self will thank me for? And then you go and do it. You build this muscle of courage just like you build a bicep in the gym. one rep at a time. And as you get stronger, the hard things don't vanish, but you become the kind of person who can handle them without flinching. There is no growth in avoidance. There is no peace in procrastination. And there is absolutely no pride in playing small. Do what needs to be done, even if it's hard. Especially if it's hard. Because when you consistently do the things that others are unwilling to do, you will begin to create a life that others can only dream of. Stop waiting. Go face the thing you've been avoiding. Today. That is where everything changes. Chapter 7. The currency of self-trust. There is a quiet, corrosive pain that builds up inside you when you stop trusting yourself. It doesn't happen overnight. It's a slow erosion. It begins with the small promises you break to yourself. You say you'll wake up early, but you hit the snooze button 3 times. You tell yourself this is the week you'll start eating better. But by Wednesday evening, you're back to your old habits. You swear you'll work on your business plan tonight, but instead, you lose 3 hours to a television series. These might seem like minor infractions, inconsequential little slips, but over time, they accumulate. They break something far more important than your momentum. They break your belief in your own word. And when you no longer believe yourself, you stop trying. You stop setting ambitious goals because a part of you already assumes you won't follow through. You start settling for less than you deserve. And perhaps the most tragic part is that you stop seeing yourself as a person who can be relied upon, even by you. This is the state of a broken relationship with the self. Your intentions and your actions are living on different planets. You say one thing, you feel another, but your behavior tells the real, disappointing story. You can only live in that state of internal misalignment for so long before it infects your confidence, your mood, and your entire outlook on the future. But here is the powerful, liberating truth. You can fix this. You can rebuild this sacred trust, not by talking about it, not by wishing for it, but by meticulously, patiently, and consistently building a mountain of proof. Proof that you are a person who does what they say they will do. You can earn back your own trust, one kept promise at a time. You start small, so small it's almost impossible to fail. You set a promise for today that you know you can keep. Not something massive like I'm going to write a book, but something tangible and immediate like I will go for a 20-minute walk during my lunch break. And then you do it. No matter what. You don't wait to feel inspired. You don't check the weather for a perfect day. You get it done simply because you said you would. That one single act of integrity is the first brick in your new foundation. You do it again the next day. Maybe the promise is, I will drink a liter of water before my first cup of coffee, and you do it. And the next day, I will read 10 pages of a book before turning on the TV, and you do it. Each time you keep a promise to yourself, no matter how small, you feel a subtle but undeniable shift. It's not loud. It's not dramatic. It is the quiet, steady hum of returning power. You begin to walk a little taller. You think with more clarity. You stop second-guessing every decision. Why? Because you now have a growing body of evidence. Evidence that your word has meaning. Evidence that you are in control. Trust is not a feeling. It is a result. Trust is built on the bedrock of repeated, reliable action. Every choice you make is a message to yourself. When you quit halfway through a workout, you are sending a message. My commitments are negotiable. When you push through the last grueling set, you are sending a message. My effort is real, and my word is bond. Your brain is constantly listening. It is constantly updating the story it tells itself about who you are. If your internal story is, I am unreliable and I never finish anything, you will continue to make choices that validate that narrative. But if you can change that story to, I am disciplined, I am consistent, and I follow through, your behavior will naturally rise to meet that new identity. And the only way to change that internal story is through action. There is no shortcut. You cannot use affirmations to talk your way into a new identity. You must act your way into it. Think of a young woman named Clara who had a dream of becoming a freelance writer. For years, she told everyone and herself that this was her goal. But her actions told a different story. She rarely wrote. When she did, she'd give up after a few paragraphs. Her self-trust was at zero. She decided to rebuild it. Her only promise for the first month was this: I will write for 15 minutes every single day. Not to produce a masterpiece, not to get published, just to keep the promise. Some days the writing was terrible. Some days she just stared at the screen. But she sat there for her 15 minutes. After a month of unbroken promises, something changed. She started to see herself as a writer. The identity shifted first, because the actions supported it. She then increased it to 30 minutes, then an hour. A year later, she had a portfolio and her first paying clients. She didn't become a better writer overnight. She became a person who could trust herself to show up. The skill followed the integrity. Yes, you will slip up. You will have a day where you break your promise. That is part of the human experience. But in that moment, you have a choice. You can fall back into the old pattern of shame and self-flagellation, deciding to start over next Monday. Or you can acknowledge the slip without drama and get right back on track with the very next choice you make. That is the critical difference between people who grow and people who stay stuck. The ones who grow have setbacks too, but they don't let a stumble turn into a fall. Their bounce-back time is immediate. The more you keep going, the more real, earned belief you build. This isn't hype or borrowed motivation from a video. This is real confidence, the kind that shows up in your posture, in the tone of your voice, in the way you look challenges in the eye with a quiet certainty. You know you can handle it because you have a track record of handling it. This is how you change in 6 months. Not by being perfect, but by becoming a person whose actions are in alignment with their words. A person who no longer commits acts of self-betrayal. Become someone you can count on. That person is waiting for you. Now go earn their trust. Chapter 8. The Gatekeeper of Your Energy. One of the most profound and often overlooked decisions you will make on this journey of transformation is who you allow to occupy your time and your mental space. Your environment, especially the people in it, is not a neutral factor. It is either a greenhouse for your growth or a toxic wasteland that chokes your potential. Not everyone deserves a front-row seat to your life. Not every person who calls you a friend is actually on your side. Some people enter your life not to support you, but to distract you, to drain you, to keep you tethered to to the version of yourself they are comfortable with. And if you are truly serious about becoming someone you can be proud of in these next 6 months, you must become a ruthless, vigilant gatekeeper of your energy. The hard truth is that not all relationships are healthy for your ambition. Some are built on the flimsy foundation of shared history, not present alignment. Some are built on the comfort of complaining together, not the challenge of growing together. And if you continue to surround yourself with people who have no desire to change, who mock your discipline, who roll their eyes at your new goals, you will inevitably begin to shrink. You will dim your own light to make them more comfortable. You'll tell yourself you're being a loyal friend, that you don't want to be arrogant, that you don't want to leave anyone behind. But in the process, you will slowly and surely lose your edge. Your fire will dwindle to an ember. You will stop showing up as the person you know you need to be. You must protect your mind and your energy as if they are your most precious resources, because they are. Growth requires immense energy. It demands focus. It requires unwavering consistency. You cannot maintain that focus if you are constantly being pulled into low vibrational conversations that lower your standards. You cannot stay committed to your path if you are surrounded by a chorus of voices questioning your every move. You cannot build a fortress of self-discipline in an environment that celebrates excuses, comfort, and distraction. It simply does not work. Take a moment and conduct a candid audit of your inner circle. Think about the 5 people you spend the most time with. Now ask yourself these questions with radical honesty. Do they inspire me to be better, or do they give me permission to stay the same? Do our conversations revolve around ideas, goals, and growth, or do they center on gossip, problems, and complaining about other people? When I leave their presence, do I feel energized, focused, and clear, or do I feel drained, scattered, and tired? These are not small questions. The answers to these questions will largely determine whether you build a powerful life or waste years stuck in a cycle of mediocrity. One of the most painful parts of personal growth is the realization that you have simply outgrown certain people. It doesn't make them bad people. It doesn't mean you are better than them. It is not a judgment. It is simply an acknowledgement that you are on different paths, heading in different directions. And if you want to continue moving forward on your path, you cannot keep one foot on the path of those who are standing still or moving backward. You must make space. You must clear the way. You cannot take everyone with you. You know exactly who these energy vampires are in your life. You feel it in your gut when you are around them. You feel your energy plummet. You find yourself hiding your ambitions or downplaying your successes to avoid making them feel uncomfortable. You feel like you are constantly having to justify your choices, constantly being told to just relax or stop trying so hard. That pressure is not support. That is fear disguised as friendly advice. Because when you grow, you hold up a mirror, forcing others to look at their own lack of growth. And not everyone is ready for that reflection. So instead of rising to meet you, it is easier for them to try and pull you back down. You have to decide, with conviction, what kind of life you want to build. If you want a life of comfort and stagnation, then keep everyone around. Don't rock the boat. Keep saying yes to invitations you want to decline. Keep listening to cynical opinions that add no value to your life. But if you want a life of clarity, focus, and real, tangible change, then it is time to curate your circle. It is time to have honest, difficult conversations. And sometimes it is time to lovingly, quietly walk away. This doesn't require a dramatic announcement. It doesn't require a lengthy explanation. It is a quiet shift. You simply stop making yourself available to the wrong people. You stop making room for conversations that lead nowhere. You let the phone ring. You stop participating in energies that make you doubt yourself. This isn't about hate or anger. It is about setting powerful boundaries. It is about choosing peace over chaos, progress over stagnation, growth over comfort. And when you do this, something incredible happens. You get your energy back. You get your mental clarity back. You feel more like yourself again because you are no longer filtering your dreams through the lens of someone else's fears and limitations. You are no longer editing your ambitions to fit into their small box. You just start moving, building, living. Yes, it might feel lonely at first. When you clear out the noise, you are left with silence. But in that silence, you will find yourself again. You will hear your own voice clearly. You will reconnect with your own vision, and in that new, open space, you will begin to attract a new tribe. People who speak your language. People who don't flinch when you talk about your audacious goals. People who celebrate your discipline and hold you accountable. But those people cannot find you if your life is already cluttered with low-energy relationships. You must let go first. Your future is not a group project. It is your sole responsibility. You do not owe anyone access to your life if they do not respect your journey of growth. This is your season to build. This is your season to focus. This is your season to rise. And not everyone gets to come with you. Chapter 9. The Power of Absolute Ownership. The trajectory of your life from this day forward will ultimately come down to the choices you make every single day. Not just the big, life-altering decisions. Not just the ones people see and applaud. All of them. The small, quiet choices you make when no one is watching. The uncomfortable decisions you've been trying to avoid. The ones you know you need to make but keep delaying. Those are the choices that are steering your ship. And until you learn to take full, radical, 100% ownership of those choices, without blaming, without making excuses, without shifting responsibility, nothing of substance will ever change. Ownership is not about guilt. It is not a tool for self-punishment. It is the ultimate form of empowerment. It is the profound acceptance that your life is a direct reflection of what you have decided to do with your time, your energy, and your focus. You are not a helpless victim of circumstance. You are not stuck. You are the one making the choices, and those choices are actively creating your reality moment by moment. The sooner you fully embrace this truth, the sooner you can begin to consciously and deliberately create a life that feels authentically yours. Every day, you decide how you spend your time. You either invest it in something that brings you closer to your goals, or you squander it on something that pulls you further away. You decide what fuel you put into your body. You decide what information you allow into your mind. You decide whether you keep the promise you made to yourself this morning or break it again. If you continue to use phrases like, "I didn't have time," or "That's just the way things are," or "I had no choice," you are willingly giving your power away. You are choosing to believe a story that paints you as a powerless pawn, but you are the king or queen on your own chessboard. You may not control every move the opponent makes, but you always, always control your next move. And that is where all your power lies. Your power lives in the decision to stop making excuses and start taking absolute responsibility for everything within your control. You must stop waiting for something external to change. A better job, a more supportive partner, a perfect moment to start. That perfect moment you are waiting for is a myth. And while you wait, life is passing you by. More time is lost, more energy is drained, more confidence fades. Ownership means stepping into the truth that everything you do today matters. Not tomorrow, not next year. Today. So if you eat junk food all day, skip your workout, avoid your most important task, waste hours on social media, and then tell yourself you had a bad day, as if it were something that happened to you, that is not ownership. That is avoidance. And the longer you avoid taking ownership, the more trapped and powerless you will feel. But the moment you shift your language and your mindset to, "I chose to eat that food. I chose to skip that workout. I chose to waste that time," something profound happens. The lie dissolves. The discomfort of that truth becomes your fuel. You use it to make a different choice next time. Ownership means you stop blaming other people for the situations you continue to tolerate. If someone disrespects you and you allow it to happen repeatedly, that is your choice to not set a boundary. If you remain in a job that is draining your soul, that is your choice to stay. If you don't speak up for what you believe in, that is your choice to remain silent. It is a hard pill to swallow, but it is also the most liberating medicine you will ever take. Because the moment you own your part in it, you gain the power to change your part in it. This does not mean that everything that happens to you is your fault. Life is unpredictable. But your growth is always your responsibility. No one owes you discipline. No one is coming to rescue you or hand you a better mindset. No one can force you to care about your own life. That is on you. When you begin to take full ownership, your life simplifies. You no longer wonder why things aren't working. You know you need to change your approach. You stop blaming your environment and you start actively creating a better one. You stop pointing fingers at others and start looking in the mirror. That is how you reclaim your power. That is how you stop repeating the same self-defeating patterns. Not by wishing for a different result, but by making a different choice. You have made enough choices you regret. You have wasted enough days. From this moment forward, you become intentional. You take responsibility for the time you wake up, for the words you speak, for the way you treat your body, for how you manage your focus, for how you move through discomfort. You choose the hard path when it leads to growth. You choose the honest answer even when it's uncomfortable. You choose to act as if your future depends on what you do today, because it does. And when you stack those ownership-driven choices day after day for 6 months, you will build something unshakable. You will build a life you don't need to escape from, because you will know, with every fiber of your being, that you earned it. Chapter 10. the 6-month blueprint. We've journeyed through the mindset shifts, the principles, and the philosophies. Now, let's forge them into a practical, actionable blueprint. This is where the theory ends and your new life begins. For the next 180 days, this is your operating system. It's not about perfection. It's about relentless, consistent effort. Month 1, the Great Detox and the Honest Audit. Your first 30 days are about clearing the slate. This is the foundation. Your only goal this month is to eliminate and become aware. Week 1 is Radical Honesty Week. You will do the exercise from Chapter 1. Sit down with a journal and answer those hard questions. What habits, people, and mindsets are ruining your life? Write it all down. No judgment, just data. Week 2 is the Digital Detox. You will ruthlessly cut down on your biggest time wasters. Delete the social media and gaming apps from your phone. Set strict time limits on entertainment. The goal is to create silence, to starve your brain of the constant cheap dopamine it has become accustomed to. You need to learn to be bored again, because boredom is the precursor to creativity and introspection. Week 3 is the Physical Detox. This is not about a crash diet. It's about elimination. For 7 days, you will eliminate the obvious poisons: processed sugar, fried foods, and excessive alcohol. You will focus on drinking water, eating whole foods, and moving your body for at least 30 minutes every day. The goal is to reset your physical energy and show you how good your body is designed to feel. Week 4 is the Environmental Detox. You will identify the top 1 or 2 people who drain your energy the most, as we discussed in Chapter 8. For this week, you will intentionally create space from them. No long phone calls, no get-togethers. Observe how you feel with this newfound space. You will also declutter one physical area of your life: your closet, your desk, your car. A clean space promotes a clear mind. Month 2, the Architect Phase. With a cleaner slate, you will now design the routine that will serve you. This is about building, not just eliminating. You will define your non-negotiable 3. These are 3 daily habits that you will do every single day, no matter what. 1 for your mind, e.g., read 10 pages, meditate for 5 minutes. 1 for your body, e.g., a 30-minute workout, a walk. And 1 for your future, e.g., work on your side project for 30 minutes, study a new skill. You will establish a non-negotiable wake-up time and a non-negotiable wind-down time. For 30 days, you will honor these times as if they were a meeting with the most important person in the world, because they are. It's a meeting with your future self. Your focus this month is on consistency over intensity. The goal is not to have a perfect month. The goal is to not miss your non-negotiable 2 days in a row. Ever. This builds the muscle of self-trust. Months 3 and 4. The Resistance Training. This is the middle stretch. The initial excitement has worn off, and this is where most people quit. Your job is to push through the resistance. During these 2 months, you will actively seek out and conquer the things you avoid, as we covered in Chapter 6. Each Monday, you will identify one hard thing you've been putting off, and you will schedule it and complete it by Friday. It could be a difficult conversation, a dreaded task, or facing your finances. You will do one of these every single week for 8 weeks. You will also introduce a new, challenging skill, something that forces you to be a beginner again. Learn a language, an instrument, a coding language. Spend 3 hours a week on it. This teaches you humility and rewires your brain for growth, reminding you that you can learn and adapt. This phase is about forging mental toughness. It's about proving to yourself that your commitment is stronger than your comfort. Month 5, the acceleration. You have momentum now. Your foundation is solid. Your self-trust is growing. Now, it's time to raise the stakes. You will review your initial goals and you will 2x them. If your goal was to save $500, you will aim for $1,000. If your goal was to run 5K, you will train for 10K. You will stretch your own definition of what is possible. You will find a mentor or an accountability partner, someone who is playing the game at a higher level than you are. You will share your goals with them and ask them to hold you to a higher standard. This external pressure will sharpen your focus. You will conduct a midpoint review. What's working, what's not? You will refine your routine, eliminating habits that aren't serving you and doubling down on the ones that are producing the biggest results. Be a ruthless editor of your own life. Month 6, the integration. This final month is about making this new way of being your permanent identity. It's not a challenge anymore. It is who you are. Your focus is on living out your new identity with ease and integrity. You no longer have to force yourself to do the habits. They are becoming automatic. You will focus on enjoying the process, on feeling the pride of your accomplishments. You will create a new 6-month vision. What's next? You've proven to yourself that you can fundamentally change your life in 180 days. You are no longer the person you were when you started this journey. You will set new, bigger, more exciting goals from this place of newfound power and self-belief. On the final day, you will go back to the journal from month 1. Read what you wrote. Read about the person you were. Acknowledge with deep gratitude and pride how far you have come. This is not the end. This is the beginning of a life lived on your own terms. This blueprint is your map, but you still have to walk the path. There will be hard days. There will be days you want to quit. But if you stick to the plan, if you honor the promises you make to yourself, 6 months from now, you will not just have a different life. You will be a different person. Conclusion. We stand now at the end of our time together, but at the true beginning of your journey. The last 6 months of your life have already passed, and you cannot get them back. But the next 6 months, they are an unwritten book. They are a blank canvas. They are a stretch of open road. The tools are now in your hands. The path has been illuminated. The choice, as always, rests with you. You can close this chapter and allow the inertia of your old life to pull you back into its comfortable, predictable orbit. Or you can make a different choice. You can decide, right here and now, that the cycle of starting and stopping, of wishing and waiting, ends today. You can choose to become the architect, the gatekeeper, and the warrior of your own life. You have everything you need. The strength, the courage, the resilience. It is all already inside you, waiting to be called upon. Your future is not determined by a single, grand decision, but by the 1,000 small, courageous choices you will make between today and 180 days from now. Choose progress over comfort, and you will earn a life you respect